everyone. I'm Karen. How are you? Good. Okay, so since this session is for you guys, I want to hear a little bit about you. How many of you are new to blockchain? Okay, a few of you. How many of you have your own blockchain application? A few others. How many of you are planning an ICO? Okay, some more of you. And how many of you enjoyed the mimosas this morning and the beer? Everybody. All right, good. So we're BlockCypher. We've been around for about 3 years providing blockchain web services and infrastructure. This is a partial list of our customer base. Many of you will recognize these companies, some of which presented today, such as ShowCard. Others you may know, such as Abra. And in Europe, we have a number of companies. We have exchanges like Gemini. In Asia, we have Rakuten and some other exchanges like CoinExchange. So we've been around providing web services and infrastructure to thousands of developers and companies. And one thing we found over these past few years is that all these companies, all these developers are now using multiple blockchains. So this is going to be an interactive session. So how many of you have looked at multiple cryptocurrencies or invested in multiple cryptocurrencies? Okay, a lot of you. So then you'll understand the story that I'm going to tell. So we've been working with a number of financial institutions, and recently when I polled them, they said they're working with at least 3 different blockchains. We also have been working with some federal organizations like the US Department of Homeland Security, and they say for each of their agencies, they'll likely have a blockchain for the agencies to communicate with each other. They'll have a federated blockchain, and for the DHS as a whole to communicate with the public, they'll have a public blockchain. So these organizations and these developers are seeing a need for using multiple blockchains. And so the unifying theme that we're finding is that blockchains have different purposes. Blockchains are good at different things and different use cases. So again, for those of you in the audience, how many of you are in healthcare? Okay, a few of you. Financial services? Okay, some others. And I've met some people from real estate. Now, for all of you who have blockchain applications or are planning an ICO, you probably want to connect to a number of different blockchains. And this helps ensure liquidity, ensures that your coin, let's say you have an ICO, is valuable. And it also enables you to use the blockchain that's best fit for a particular use case. And your application may span a number of different use cases. And so having that flexibility and using BlockCypher as a middleware infrastructure layer lets you have that ability to support multiple blockchains. So this is a view of our web services. We have a number of web services, including an analytics API, confidence API, multi-signature API. What they all break down into are these 3 main areas. First, identity, web services, transaction, web services, and analytics. So I'll start with each of these different areas and talk about use cases in each of these areas, and then end up with an example that covers them all. So within transaction web services, our web services type, we have a number of APIs, for example, contract API, address API, and so forth, that you could use if you're an ICO or have an ICO coming to support your new wallet. So you could, if you have an Ethereum ERC token, ERC20 token-based solution that you're coming out with, you can use our address API and our transaction API to create your wallet and make it easy for your investors, your customers, your users to use your token. If you have a Bitcoin or Dash or Litecoin application, a based application, then you can use our wallet API or payment forward APIs to help you manage the wallets, check address balances, but also handle things like commissions, being able to forward a payment to someone else and give a cut to the referrer, say, who gave you that referral. So another example of a company using us for our transaction type APIs is Abra. How many of you know Abra? Okay, so a lot of you. So I'll be very quick in my introduction. So Abra is a company that enables peer-to-peer payments and they use as the underlying network Bitcoin, though the people who are using it don't know, because I, as an end user, say have $200 that I put in today and I want to send to my family in the Philippines. I can do that a month from now, and that value will remain the same. What enables all that is a system and a network of lenders that are able to spot any kind of fluctuations in currency changes. Now, what Albra was able to do very quickly was come to market with a solution in a much shorter time frame, because they were able to use our test environment, which we call our BCY test environment, and it was a lot better than the Bitcoin testnet, the Bitcoin test networks. They also are using our webhooks, which are notifications that tell when a payment has been made. And most of our customers will use our webhooks and our notifications because that kind of information is extremely critical to those transactions. Now, the second area of web services that we provide is identity. So how many of you were in the identity session this morning? Okay, some of you. So you probably heard from Showcard, from Armin, the CEO of Showcard. And Showcard uses our web services, but for those of you who weren't in that session, really quickly, what Showcard provides is an identity management application where you, through a mobile application, can use biometric data, whether it's your thumbprint, a voice reading, or a picture of yourself, to identify that you are who you say you are. And then using that information, you can do different transactions, whether it's a banking transaction, get through the airport without having to show all different kinds of materials. And what they use BlockCypher for is, first of all, to publish that identity data to the blockchain. Now, how many of you are involved in the entertainment industry or with any kind of digital rights management? Okay, so this would be interesting for you in the sense that you could publish this digital information, whether it's an identity or some digital rights to a new piece of artwork, a new song, or something, and then use our APIs again to validate and ensure that that identity, that right that you have, is valid. Now, the third area that we support in terms of web services is analytics. So analytics is important not just because you want to understand operationally how things are going, how they're working, where the trends are, where you're going to make money, where you're going to lose money, but also where you can identify fraud. And how many of you are involved with security or fraud management? Okay, just a handful of you. Okay, so for those of you who have been in the crypto space and have heard about the Bitfinex hack, how many of you have heard about the Bitfinex hack? Okay, a number of you. So last year there was a hack broke into the Bitfinex exchange, and after that happened, we took the transactions on the Bitcoin network, used our analytics API to understand the shape of the transaction and basically figure out which transactions belong to the hacker, and using that information, figured out the top transactions, the amounts, and the corresponding IP addresses. So this is important, for anyone who's not only trying to protect their money, but also trying to prove that they can protect their money or protect others' money. So this is something that we've been working with a number of companies around protecting financial transactions. So what I want to end up with is an example of how you could tie all of these different web services together. So healthcare is just one example, and so for those of you who aren't in healthcare, you'll see something relevant in your lives, because healthcare is all about data that many people supply, not just your doctor, but other providers, other labs, therapists, and all this information pulled together actually is costing billions of dollars every year because there's so much redundant and duplicate data. On top of that, with the claims and insurance issues, there's a lot of fraud. So what we've done is partnered with Patientory. And Patientory is a healthcare blockchain company that has their own blockchain. They have a mobile application that enables patients to come in, authenticate themselves, say they are who they are, but share their information on a selective basis with other providers, hospitals. And so what we enable them to do is not only can patients and providers use the Patientory blockchain, but patients could use the Patientory blockchain to make payments on the Dash blockchain. And that's powerful for Patientory and all their customers because that means they're not wedded to one blockchain, which may be, in this case, Ethereum-based, may be better suited for revealing, sharing patient information, but not so much doing small payments that have to be fast, don't have high fees, which Dash is better suited for. And so having this kind of architecture where BlockCypher enables them to support multiple blockchains enables them to give that flexibility to their customers. And this means not only for them, not only decrease for providers in capital expenditures and penalties and costs, as well as breaches in terms of using the blockchain, but also in terms of payments, enabling less fraud or reducing fraud, accurate billing, and automated payment processing. So for companies like Patientory and companies such as yourselves, whether it's your own blockchain companies or the ICOs that you're starting, you can use BlockCypher now to be blockchain agnostic. And that means not only do you reduce the costs of development and take less time to come to market with a new solution, but you're future-proofing your applications and your technology because you leave all the worry around what protocols are doing what fork is happening, what new blockchain is going to be better suited for what use case to us. Because we'll be supporting these blockchains and adding the ones in the future that have the most market adoption and make most sense for different use cases that people are looking at. So to just end here, I would encourage you to look at our website, www.blockcypher.com. I also have a table out there that's right next to the nice Bitcoin and other crypto artwork and plain, so just find me at the table over there if you have any other questions. And I look forward to continuing this discussion with you. Thank you for your time.